Flight TR-219 vanished without a trace in the Arctic on December 24, 1991, during one of the fiercest storms of that decade. On board were 150 passengers and crew, each with their own story and each desperate to reach home for Christmas. The final message from Captain David Morgan came in at 11:15, a desperate attempt to contact air traffic control amid the raging tempest, extreme turbulence, 2 engine malfunctions, and a critical descent. He pleaded for a transmission before everything fell silent, leaving behind only quiet and decades of agonizing uncertainty. 8 search aircraft and 4 icebreakers spent over 600 hours scouring the icy wilderness in vain, and after a month of relentless efforts, the rescue mission was finally abandoned. The mystery of Flight TR-219 appeared destined to remain one of the many secrets locked in Arctic ice. In January 2024, Michael Anderson sat in his research center in Anchorage, deeply absorbed in satellite images spread across his desk. The outdoor thermometer read -28 degrees, yet even behind the lab's thick walls the Arctic chill seeped in. After working in these frozen regions for 30 years, he had witnessed plenty of oddities, but these images made his pulse quicken. A military satellite had inadvertently picked up a metallic object buried deep within the ice. Amanda White, a young radar specialist, burst into his office with fresh thermal data, exclaiming, "You've got to see this," her hands trembling as she showed him new prints. "There's something not right here. Look at these temperature patterns around the object, and notice how the marks form an almost perfect grid around the crash site." Michael examined the details carefully. The size and shape of the object matched exactly with Flight TR-219, yet there was something even more peculiar about the ice surrounding the plane. It was as though, over 30 years, something had repeatedly followed the same route, carving out a complex pattern deep within the ice. Within 1 week, one of the largest Arctic expeditions in recent memory was organized. The team comprised top experts: Jack Cooper, an engineer with 20 years of polar experience; Catherine Miller, a celebrated wildlife survival expert in extreme environments; and a crew of 30 technical specialists. Time was running out as the approaching spring melt threatened to bury the mystery of Flight TR-219 forever. Tons of melted water and 84 tons of equipment were ferried to the crash site across the frozen expanse. 4 massive transport helicopters worked around the clock, delivering essential support modules, generators, drilling equipment, and fuel supplies. The camp was set up in just 18 hours, forming a true scientific outpost amid the icy silence. It was Catherine Miller who first noticed the unusual behavior of the local wildlife. All signs pointed to large predators, yet the tracks did not match those of polar bears or wolves. "These prints belong to lynxes," she explained to the group. "But that's impossible. Lynxes never venture this far north, and certainly aren't this large." At dawn on the 4th day, as the early sunlight tinted the snow a soft pink and the visibility improved after the turbulent night, they finally spotted them. 3 unusually large lynxes watching over the camp from a nearby ridge of ice mounds. A mother accompanied by her 2 nearly adult cubs, their silver-white fur blending so seamlessly with the snow that they appeared woven from the very air. "It's incredible," whispered Catherine Lee. "They're enormous, and they don't seem scared of people, yet they aren't aggressive at all." The team then began their work under brutal conditions. Thermometers read -45 degrees, and the wind howled like a wild beast, whipping tiny shards of ice that stung their faces. 2 groups worked in shifts using specialized equipment to melt the surrounding ice, and with each passing hour, temperature sensors recorded a slow but steady rise. Spring was rapidly approaching, threatening to turn the excavation site into a vast pool of water. The first major breakthrough occurred at 20 meters deep when the tail of the plane emerged from the ice. Its metal had long since lost its shine, yet the faded airline logo was still visible. Amanda was the first to note something odd. The ice around the fuselage looked damaged, as if someone had tread those paths for years. Every morning, the lynxes appeared almost at the same time, and their behavior defied explanation. They meticulously inspected the edges of the dig site, marking dangerous sections with deep footprints and scratches, sometimes seeming to deliberately highlight specific areas. That afternoon, the first incident took place. A sudden gust of wind loosened the ties on the main generator, causing the massive structure to tilt and nearly collapse onto Amanda amid the swirling snow. The oldest lynx sprang forward like lightning, shoving the young woman out of harm's way just before the generator crashed onto the ice. "That's unbelievable," Amanda later recalled in a trembling voice. "He saved me on purpose. Did you see his eyes? They had real intelligence." Work continued nonstop as the team set up powerful spotlights whose beams danced across the icy walls, creating eerie shadows. The specialized ice-melting equipment ran at full throttle while 12 pumps worked relentlessly to drain the melted water, which, given the low temperatures, refroze almost instantly into a new layer of ice. Jack Cooper led the technical operations, and his team devised a unique system to secure the ice walls and prevent them from collapsing. "We've never seen ice formations like these before," he admitted during one of the morning briefings. "These bizarre channels and cavities seem as if someone has been carving tunnels here for decades." A week later, the team reached the passenger cabin, and what they discovered inside exceeded all expectations. Time appeared to have stopped there, preserved by the relentless Arctic cold. Coffee cups remained frozen on their trays. Magazines and unfinished books were still tucked away in the seat pockets, and a small doll in a pink dress lay abandoned in the aisle, its plastic eyes fixed on the ceiling. Yet the most startling find was the diary of flight attendant Sarah Johnson, recovered from a first-class seat pocket. Its pages detailed the final days of the survivors, written in small, clear handwriting. On December 25, 1991, one entry read, "Out of 150 people, 28 survived. We gathered at the front of the plane because it's warmer." Captain Morgan arranged the shifts and distributed the supplies. "It's odd, but we're not alone. There are sounds outside that aren't like wolves. Something else is watching us." Then on December 27, 1991, as the temperature plummeted to minus 52 degrees, four people perished during the night while we tried to stay warm by huddling together. A young girl in row 12, named Jane, kept asking about her mother, and someone later admitted, "I don't know what to tell her." On December 28, 1991, another entry read, "Today something unbelievable happened. We found fresh game at the entrance of the plane. A pair of Arctic hares, almost as if they were left for us on purpose." Captain Morgan declared that this was impossible, but by then we had stopped questioning the unexplainable. "These cats come every night. Their eyes glow in the dark. We're no longer afraid. They don't hunt us, they protect us." On December 30th, 1991, during the final night, 11 people were lost. Many suffered from frostbite while others simply never woke up. With fuel nearly exhausted and the cabin temperature dropping dangerously fast, without the help of these remarkable creatures who delivered food to us, we would all have perished. On January 2nd, 1992, only 12 survivors remained. The cold was claiming lives one by one, yet those extraordinary animals still roamed nearby. That day, the mother lynx, accompanied by her cubs, moved through the snow like elusive phantoms, showing us the safe paths. When Gene tried a different route, his body was later discovered in a crevasse. From that moment, we depended solely on the lynxes. By January 10th, 1992, only 5 of us were left. The food was nearly gone, yet the lynxes kept delivering prey, almost as if they understood our despair. One entry from that time read, "Today I saw the mother lynx sitting beside Mary for hours, warming her with her body while she suffered in agony. This goes beyond anything I thought I knew about wild animals." Then on January 15th, 1992, another entry declared, "I am the only one left. The others are gone, but these creatures still remain. The mother lynx brings me food, her cubs guard my sleep, and I no longer feel the bitter cold. They taught me an important lesson. In this endless white silence, no one should face death alone. I can hear them out there, calling to me." The discovery of the diary left the team with mixed emotions. "It's merely the delirium of a dying man," insisted Jack Cooper, though Catherine Miller wasn't entirely convinced. She had spent 20 years studying arctopredators and had never seen behavior like that exhibited by these lynxes. Work went on, but with each passing day, it got warmer. The ice began to melt faster than the team could shore it up, and cracks started forming in the walls of the dig site. Michael urged everyone to speed up the work, aware that only a few days remained. In mid-February, disaster struck when a sudden temperature rise shifted the ice, and a massive crevasse split the excavation, threatening to engulf both the plane and the team. Evacuation commenced amid chaos, yet 3 team members became isolated from the rest of the camp by the widening gap. "They're going to die out there," Amanda shouted as she battled through the blizzard. Then, the unthinkable occurred. The lynxes emerged from the snowstorm, moving with absolute certainty. The mother lynx led the way with her cubs close behind, guiding the stranded members through an unseen passage over the crevasse, the only safe path that could hold their weight. In the final week of February, the team made another astonishing discovery in the plane's cargo hold. They uncovered a container filled with scientific materials, inside of which lay the work diary of a meteorologist who had been on board flight TR-29. His final notes described bizarre atmospheric phenomena just before the night of December 23, 1991. "I have never seen anything like it. The instruments recorded impossible readings, and the luminous phenomena in the atmosphere are beyond explanation. It feels as if the Arctic itself is trying to speak to us." Next to the diary was a camera with its film miraculously preserved, and only one photograph remained. A blurry image of a massive lynx standing under the glow of the aurora borealis. On the back, written in shaky handwriting, were the words, "They are the guardians of this place, knowing more than we can ever comprehend." By early March, it was clear that time was running out. The spring thaw had accelerated, turning the excavation into a race against the clock. The team labored nonstop to recover as many items and pieces of information as possible. Even the lynxes seemed to sense that the end was near. They appeared more frequently, their behavior growing ever more urgent. "This goes beyond any science we know," Catherine declared in her final interview at the site. "These lynxes aren't just unusually smart. They remember what happened to those who tried to save us 30 years ago, passing that memory down through the generations." On the final day of the dig, the team prepared for the last evacuation. The temperature had risen to -5 degrees, and the ice was melting rapidly, transforming the lower levels of the site into a pool. According to the engineers' calculations, the structure would become critically unstable within 24 hours. Suddenly, Amanda noticed something odd about the lynx's behavior. The mother lynx kept drawing attention to a specific spot on the plane's fuselage. Following the animals, the team discovered a small compartment that had been previously overlooked. Inside, they found a sealed container packed with crew records and personal belongings of the passengers. This final discovery became the ultimate gift from the extraordinary guardians of the crash site. Throughout the expedition, the team gathered over 100 terabytes of data, including photographs, video recordings, and instrument readings. Analysis of these findings continues even now, but one thing is certain. The story of Flight TR-29 has forever altered our understanding of nature and its mysteries. When the last helicopter finally departed from the site, Michael Anderson looked down to see 3 silvery figures rising at the edge of the crevasse, their outlines sharply defined against the snowy expanse. The lynxes watched silently as the humans left, just as they had witnessed the final survivors of Flight TR-219 depart 30 years earlier. At the crash site stands a modest monument bearing the inscription, Flight TR-219, December 24, 1991. Here under the Arctic skies, we learned that compassion knows no boundaries between species, a lasting tribute to those who perished and to the extraordinary beings who guard their peace. Today, this place has become a major center for scientific study. Researchers from around the globe journey here to explore the unusual behavior of the Arctic lynxes. These remarkable creatures are still present, and some expeditions report sightings of them as silvery ghosts among the ice ridges, continuing their eternal vigil in a place where nature once revealed its true face. Catherine Lee later published a series of scientific articles about the phenomenon of Flight TR 219, sparking a revolution in how we understand the cognitive abilities of wild animals. What we discovered beneath the ice goes far beyond a mere survival instinct. These animals displayed an empathy and attentiveness once thought to be uniquely human. They showed us that even in the harshest conditions, something beautiful can emerge, a bond between species built on pure compassion. And on those rare nights when the aurora borealis lights up the vast Arctic sky, their silhouettes can still be seen against the glowing backdrop. Three loyal guardians who continue their eternal watch, preserving the memory of those who found their final rest there and reminding us that true compassion truly has no limits. What did you think of this story? Leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, take care.